Question number 4. This question is from kinematics of motion in a straight line. The velocity of a particle at time t second after leaving a fixed point O is v meter per second. The diagram shows a velocity time graph. This is velocity time graph along x-axis time, along y-axis velocity, velocity time graph, which models the motion of the particle. The graph consists of 5 straight line segments. These are 5 straight line segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The graph consists of 5 line segments. The particle accelerates to a speed of 0.9 meters per second in a period of 3 seconds. In first 3 seconds, the velocity is 0.9. 0.9 meter per second in a period of 3 seconds, then travels at a constant speed for 6 seconds. This is a constant speed. Horizontal line shows a constant speed for 6 seconds. 9 minus 3, 6 seconds. Speed is constant for 6 seconds. And then comes instantaneously to rest 1 second later. This line segment shows that comes to the particle comes to rest in 1 second. 9 and 10, only 1 second. Here the particle is at rest because speed is 0. The particle then moves back and returns to rest at O at time t second. The graph that lies below the x-axis, this is a rectangle, this is a triangle. This shows that the particle moves back and returns to rest at O at time t second. Find the distance traveled by the particle in the first 10 seconds of motion. 10 seconds are here. We know that this is because this is speed time graph. In speed time graph, area under the graph will give the distance covered. So actually we have to find the distance in the first 10 seconds. This means that we have to find this area. 10 seconds are here. We have to find the area of under this graph. Then area will be the distance traveled. So first to find the area, first we split uh, in 3 parts. First part, say that this is A1, this is A2, and this is A3. We find the area, first we will find the area of this right angle triangle, then we will find the area of this rectangle, and at the last we will find the area of this right angle triangle. So adding these 3 areas, we get the distance traveled in first 10 seconds. So Now first, to find the area of triangle, first triangle that is represented by A1, area of triangle A1 is equal to 1 over 2 base into height. Base is 3 and height is 0.9. After calculation, we get 1.35. And second area A2, that is our rectangle. This is our rectangle length into breadth. Length is 6 and width is 0.9. So area of rectangle will be 6 into 0.9. We get 5.4. And third area area of this right angle triangle, 1 over 2 base is 1 and height is 0.9. 1 over 2 base into height, 1 over 2 base is 1 and height is 0.9. We get 0.545. This is these are three areas. We know we will add these three areas and we get from here the distance. Distance is A1 plus A2 plus A3. So distance will be 7 point. We will add these three areas. We get uh, 7.2 meter. This is the distance in uh, in the first 10 seconds of its motion. Part B of this question is now given that t is equal to 12, find the minimum velocity of the particle. Look at this diagram. This diagram shows the direction of motion of the particle, like in this direction, movement of the particle in this direction. But the graph that lies below the x-axis shows that the motion is up in opposite direction. This graph shows the opposite direction of the movement. First direction on this side and the first direction of motion is on this side. The uh, other direction of the motion is in the opposite direction. So given that t is equal to 12, find the minimum velocity of the particle. Now we will find the area of this triangle. This is the height of this triangle, or let this is the minimum speed. We represent it by v. So this distance, the distance that the distance represented by the graph that lies above the x-axis will be the same as of the graph that lies below the x-axis. This distance will be equal to this distance. Now t is equal to 12 and the total distance we have already found, that is 7.2 meter. Now we will find the area of this triangle, that is 1 over 2 base into height, 1 over 2 base into height, that is b. This distance is equal to this distance we have already found. So this is equal to 7.2. So from here we get b is equal to 7.2 meter per second. Uh, so this is the minimum speed, this is the minimum velocity. So we represent it by the negative sign. So answer is negative 7.2 meter per second, because it is velocity. Negative sign shows direction of the motion is in opposite direction, because direction of motion is in opposite direction, represented by this area of this triangle. Because the graph that lies below the x-axis shows the opposite direction of the motion. So velocity is, minimum velocity is this. We will represent it by negative sign, because the direction of the motion is in opposite direction. Since it is velocity, so we will represent it by negative sign. So next part of this question, part C, given instead that the greatest speed of the particle is 3 meters per second, find the value of t, find the value of t, and hence find the average speed of the particle for the whole of the motion. Now, given that greatest velocity, greatest speed is equal to 3 meter per second, and distance is 7.2 meter. Now we have to find the value of t. We have to find the value of t. Now this velocity and this speed is considered as the greatest speed, that is 3 meter per second. V is equal to 3 meters per second. So we can write that distance covered in back direction we will find the distance by uh, by finding the area of this triangle. 1 over 2 base into height. Now base is t minus 10 and height is 3, because v is given 3 meter per second. Greatest speed is given. So we can write that distance covered in back direction is equal to 1 over 2 t minus 10 into 3. 1 over 2 base into height. Now this distance is same as the distance covered, that is represented by the diagram that lies above the x-axis. So distance is same, 7.2. So we can write that 1 over 2 t minus 10 into 3 is equal to 7.2. From here we can find the value of t. T minus 10 is equal to 7.2 into 2 over 3. T minus 10 is equal to 4.8. After calculation, this will we get the right hand side, that is 4.8. Now T will be 10 plus 4.8, that is 10 point, sorry, 14.8. 14.8 second. We have found the value of T, and now we have to find the average speed of the particle for the whole of the motion. Now we know that average speed, this is formula for average speed, V average will be total distance over total time. Total distance over total time. Total distance is 7.2 plus 7 over 2, because we will add these two distance, this distance in one direction, distance in the backward direction. So these two distances are equal. So to find total distance, we will add these two distances. So we will write 7.2 plus 7.2 over total time, that is just we have found uh, 14.8. So divided by 14.8, so we get speed, average speed is equal to 14.4 over 14.8. We get this is equal to 36 over 37. But we will give the answer correct to three significant figures. So final answer is average speed will be 0.973 meter per second. This is the answer. This is the average speed, 0.973 meter per second, correct to three significant figures.